you so much for everyone who has joined at this point, and happy International Women's Day to you. March is generally known as Women's History Month. There's a lot of celebration, just celebrating the woman, and we felt that it's imperative that we recognize, we celebrate ourselves as women, especially in the gaming industry. There are not so many of us compared to, the number of male counterparts we have in the industry. Is a very male-dominated industry, but we find that more and more women are interested in this industry. And some of them are aspiring to the industry, wanting to know, what to do, how to do, and how to get into the industry. I am hoping that all the people who are joining are women at this point, because I see some names and I'm wondering, okay, are there some, women-friendly men on the call as well, but we're not sure. We're not going to kick anybody out. They're welcome to listen and all. So to set this rolling, we have themed today's conversation, Women in Nigeria Gaming, Breaking Barriers and Building Futures, as an initiative to celebrate the International Women's Day, also to enlighten, inspire, and empower women who are either already in the industry or aspiring to become part of the gaming industry. So we have leading female professionals from different sectors of the gaming industry. Now, for those who attended the AGE conference, we had a session of women in gaming in Africa, and that sort of brought to life a number of issues. We were approached by a number of ladies who wanted to know, what could be done if there was any networking or platform for women to get together. Now, I'm trying to allow for time for more people to join so they don't miss much, but this session will be recorded, so we'll probably share that with those who attend at the end of the session. So I'll take a step back and then just formally introduce myself, and then we'll start today's session. So this discussion, our hope is that it is a roadmap for women, who are aspiring to thrive and make something of the gaming industry. Yes, so my profile is up. My name is Olafadike Akeju. I'm sure many people are familiar with this already. And well, I am the managing partner of Wise Solicitors and also the team lead of SLEC Africa, both of which are gaming industry focused organizations. I've been in the industry for about 2 decades, going on 2 decades now. And, area of expertise essentially is regulatory compliance, policy advocacy, industry representation, legal services for the emerging gaming industry in Nigeria and Africa. Incidentally, I am also a partner in a law firm, a UK-based firm, Still Rose Legal, where we also work with, operators, investors, stakeholders who are interested in the African gaming industry. So that's my profile in a nutshell. Now, just before I introduce the other panelists and then hand over to them, I'd just like to more or less lay a bit of foundation in terms of what the gaming ecosystem is. We got a lot of questions, I mean, some of the panelists as well, about how to grow in the gaming industry, what the gaming industry is. It seems like some people are interested in coming into the industry, whilst others are already in the industry, but they cannot see beyond where they are currently, what they do, the job they do. They do not see the entire gaming ecosystem. So I'm just going to take a minute, to go through the gaming ecosystem. So for those who are aspiring to come into the gaming industry, I hope this is clear. I hope this is clear enough, for everyone to see. We've got different aspects of the industry. We've got the operators, we've got regulators. There's a retail agency where you have people like the affiliates, the agents who are into land-based operations. We have the professionals as well, those who provide legal services, financial services, IT services, more or less support service to the industry. Now, when we talk about regulatory, we're also talking about complementary regulators, not just the gaming industry regulators, but you've got SCUMO, you've got NFIU, and we have people in there who are sector heads and lead this industry. So perhaps if you're considering, how can I navigate the gaming industry, these are some of the areas where you could come in. We've got technology providers, software, hardware, product providers. We have those who support, data and internet service providers, because, the gaming industry is such that has evolved, has been impacted by technology. And to a large extent, we're all reliant on the internet to broadcast some of the virtual products, for instance. And of course, we have the marketing, media, broadcasting, advertising sector that also serve this industry. There's essentially some marketing agencies whose work primarily focuses on the gaming industry. We also have payment solutions provider. And then ultimately at the top of the table is the players, the players, player management, those who provide support, those who provide customer support services. Some of you may be in that role and you may be thinking, oh, how do I navigate this sector? How do I come into the industry? And, this essentially is, in summary, what the gaming industry ecosystem is. So moving right along, today we are joined by three beautiful and innovative and dynamic women. I will start with introducing them all generally and then hand over to them so that they take it from here. So I'll start by introducing Bimpe Akingba, quite popular. She is currently the Regional Manager for Africa, Business Development and Regulatory in Chezo Limited. And she's also joined by Olubusola Ajao, who is the Head of Finance, Visatech Limited. And we are also joined all the way from Ghana by Gifty Rita Amoa, who is the Deputy Director of Inspections, Investigation, Compliance, and Entertainment at the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Right. So you're welcome, ladies. If we put Busola's, we'll go back to Bimpe. Bimpe, takes the floor first. And this is her profile, quite something, if you can see, I'm sure you can see on the screen, a profile, which is something to behold. She's been in the gaming industry for about 12 years in gaming law, compliance, and regulatory affairs. As we all know, most people know her as the immediate past executive secretary of the Association of Nigerian Bookmakers. But beyond that, she has been in the industry, prior to now, working in-house as legal advisor, legal counsel. She's also a very recognized leader and advocate in the gaming industry. Quite a number of recognitions and award has been given to her, because of the work she does in the gaming industry. So it is my pleasure, and beyond the industry, she also has hobbies. She's passionate about beading, designing bracelets, necklaces, and earrings. And I have to say they are beautiful because I have patronized, I have seen, I have been a recipient of some of those beautiful artistry from Bingpe. So Bingpe, you're welcome. We're going to hand over to you now. You have about 15 minutes yourself to just run us through essentially what it is breaking into the gaming industry, the skills that is required for success, and more importantly, we note that you pivoted first from a legal role, then you veered into more or less advocacy and industry representation, and now you're in business development, and not just in Nigeria but across the region. You're the regional head, for Africa. So it would be good to hear from you, learn from you, and insights into how you have succeeded, where you started from, what your journey has been. And I'm also aware that you are a wife and mother. How do you juggle all of this together and still manage to succeed, excel, and be where you are today? Over to you, Bimpe.
Thank you very much, Fadike, for putting together something like this, especially on an important day like this, the International Women's Day, celebrating women across the continent. And I must say that it's actually an honor to be here speaking in the midst of distinguished, women here, Gifty, Busola, yourself. And honestly, anytime my profile is being read, I'm thinking, oh, is this actually me? But yes, it's been a journey within the industry. Like you rightly mentioned, started out, I think sometimes in 2013 or 2014, with this small sports betting company. At the time, the industry was actually very much localized. It was the industry was basically had operators or operating companies that were fully owned by the locals. So I was working with this up and coming brand at the time as a legal officer, while Fadike Ase was at that time the board secretary for the Lagos State Lotteries Board. And I remembered that it was interesting actually seeing a woman in that capacity. She was the only female in terms of exec role at the Lagos State Lotteries Board at the time. But, it was interesting to see her in that space. And I remember I started just as this legal officer. And at the time, Lagos State Lotteries Board had amended their regulations to now ensure that every operator had a compliance officer seated in-house. So I added on, or the company added on that role to my legal role. So it was a legal and compliance role. I think I did just a very few months, maybe 8-9 months thereabout in that particular company. And then I moved on to another brand. It was the leading brand at the time, 1960bet, operating across, all countries in Nigeria. Again, that company was Nigeria owned. And as you can imagine, male dominated as well. But I was also, seated at the exec level, reporting to the directors. And I remember that in 1960bet, I think it was there that I really learned the complexities surrounding the industry, especially in terms of regulations, because then, I was dealing with these various regulators, dealing with agents. We had agents spread across every state. We had company shops as well. So this was me managing relationships, with employees, over 300 staff at that time, and agents across more regions, super agents and all of that. It was a lot, and I must say something new to me. The industry was pretty much new at the time, so not like you had a lot of people to reach out to ask questions. Hello, can you all still hear me, please? Hello?
Yes, we can.
Oh, okay, because I see everyone's video off. That's why I'm asking. So it was quite challenging, like I said, being a novel space. So you had to, at that time, I really had to think on my feet. Basically, again, working with other male, you had to prove that you were up to the task. So for me, I'll say one thing that has worked for me is I have never shied away from challenges. I see every challenge as an opportunity for growth. And that's the way I've always operated. And that's, I think, one of the best skills that I'll say, anyone, not even a woman only, anyone should have. Do not shy away from responsibilities, from hard tasks, because on the other side of it is growth, is excellence, if you're able to pull through. From there, I remember when I left 1960 Bet at that time, because I had to focus on, my personal life, family, and all. I left for about a year, and then went on to other things before finally I was asked to be the executive secretary of the Association of Nigerian Makers. And then that moved me to the advocacy side of things, basically making sure that the operators have a voice, ensuring proper regulatory reforms that is favorable to operators and stakeholders generally. In that role, it was majorly around advocacy, protecting the interests of operators. And again, that was not something I'd done before. I took on that task also, not having, like I said, recourse to who to call. I had to, think on my feet as well. How do you bring value to these operators? How do you make them see the association as a place for them to come to trust? And also that was also things I had to come up with, ideas, execute them, and I'm thankful that it was a 4 years of impact in that position as well. And, literally to this position where I am now, it was more like coaching by that company, seeing what this person has done or has been able to achieve in their space. So now in the business development side of things, that's a complete deviation from what I've known, what I've done completely. I have a legal background. Maybe we can say that law even helped me in the space of advocacy. But, currently in the business development space where, I'm leading market expansion, business growth, engaging with regulators on a different level, as different from what I've done in the association. I would say it is challenging, but again, I've come to see myself as loving challenges. Or from my experience, I see that actually challenges are not bad. You should see them in a positive light, and you should actually jump at it. So from all of this that I've said, I'm going to highlight some key points that I think has worked for me. One is adaptability. In this industry, you have to stay adaptable because this is a very fast-paced industry. Regulations are evolving, technology is, so you can't afford to say, oh, I want to be this rigid, or oh, this is what I learned, or yeah, I'm a lawyer, I want to stay in this space. I remember in 1960 Bet, whilst I was the legal person there, before I left, actually in 1960, HR was added to my role as well, because I'm this person who wants to relate with other departments. I want to know what is happening there, and I feel that that's the best way you can be of value to your company. It's not just sitting in your role, and insisting that that's the only space you want to be in. So where I am currently to handling business development, I cross-function with every team. So my skills, the skills that I'm bringing in from where I'm coming from, which is legal compliance, I'm supporting those ones in that aspect. So I won't just say, oh, now I'm on the commercial side, I want to stay with that. I'll look for ways to make life easy for other departments as well and ensure that the overall interest of the company is achieved. That is who I am. And I feel that that's how you can grow, you know, stay adaptable, develop a business mindset, like what I've said, which is you're not thinking, oh, I'm just here to get paid and move on. See whatever role you are in, like it's your own thing. You want to make sure that you are not treating it as I'll just do what I'm paid for and I move on. Make sure that you are giving value. It's in cross-functioning with other teams that you yourself had, to whatever skills it is that you already have. Another thing that has worked for me is building relationships. And that comes back to what I said about when I first met Fadeke. So it wasn't Fadeke reaching out to me. I remember then, it's in sending Christmas messages or, Happy New Year and things like that. I really was intentional about reaching out to her. And that relationship has blossomed over the years. Again, in building relationships, do not just be that person who takes. In building relationship, make sure that you are also giving value to the other person on the side of the divide. That's make sure that it's a mutually beneficial relationship. That is how people see you as valuable. That is how people want to continue to be in your space. And then for those who are looking, to maybe to those of us who have been in this industry for years, I believe that, in building relationships, you have to, it takes humility, really, for you to, approach. Don't see it as, I don't know what this person will say. Be bold enough to reach out. And as you're reaching out as well, like I said, be a person of value too, so that that relationship is not parasitic. Let me put it that way. And again, step up to opportunities, advocate for yourself. Don't wait for things to drop on your laps. It is in you taking up challenges that people see how valuable, how useful you are. And truth is, they say that the reward of work is more work. Do not see that as a problem. Honestly, every time, and I think for me, what it does for me is it makes me not afraid to, so that I'm desperate to be in a position. Let me put it that way, because I know that I'm giving value here. So I'm not desperate to hold on to anything. And I know, that wherever I am, I'm not the person I was last year. I know that I've added to my, skills and all, which will be beneficial for the next company that I'm moving on to, or if I'm setting up my own thing. So if you see working for a company as you building yourself personally, I feel it also will help you to do more or to go beyond whatever role it is that that has been placed on you. If I say it now, I mentioned last year I joined this new company. I knew nothing about business development. We were tasked with the job to expand to 7 African markets. This is me coming from knowing only Nigeria. I remembered taking up that role. I took it with every sense of responsibility. I was not excited, about the bigness of the role or maybe the money that I was attracting. As soon as I got that role, the first thing on my head is, how do I give value? How do I ensure that these people really see, that I'm adding to the progress of their company? That task, actually, they knew was impossible. This is a company that opens maybe 1 market in a year, giving some people 7 in 1 year. And, I'm happy. It was fulfilling for me to see that we actually met that target. And, the company itself acknowledged it. And for me, these are the things that I live for. This is how I feel that people should operate. You must consistently be a person of value. Do not shy away from from challenges, be resilient. And when I say be resilient, is we are women. Fadike has talked about us handling family issues, even aside workspace. If we all sit down here, and I'm close to Fadike, that I've seen her go through things like in her personal life. She knows, I mean, she's close to me as well. She knows some of the personal things I've, gone through. And while having to be on the job, because truth is, you can't be that person who comes to work every day making excuses about your personal life. That's the truth, because you don't see men doing that all day. So yes, and I'm not saying don't shy away from taking breaks or asking for permissions when you need to, but I'm saying do not make it a way of life, or coming across as someone to be pitied. You don't want to be that person, because again, you want to you want to have your own space where people don't disrespect you, where people don't see you as a weakling, because what that is also going to breed is, you can come off to people as a victim, and then they bring all sorts of nonsense to you. So you want to be that person who is resilient while you are going through your personal challenges, is not impacting your work. You are still delivering. You have built this network of people to support you. I'm not saying, please do not think I'm saying this is easy. For me, handling family, like I have a daughter who is still pretty young, so that I have to be there, be there for her too as she's growing, not be this absentee mom and all of that. I have a husband as well, but I would say that if you put in place this support mechanism, and I'm thankful that I have a very supportive husband. That's the truth. I've never for one day had to fear that, I want to take a position and I'm thinking, oh, will my husband allow me to do this? That's not where I am. Sometimes I've even made the decision before, we are having that discussion. I know that this is somebody who wants me to soar and be out there, and that I know is also willing to, hold forth the home front in the times that I'm absent. And that is really important. You're supporting yourself again with good friends. I mentioned, Fadike is like, a big auntie to my daughter. You have friends around, you have family members who can step in when you are not around. Maybe your mom, your sisters that can help you stay around. That has been very helpful to me, I must say. Finally, I'll say, for every woman here, I think your willingness to learn, evolve, and step boldly into new opportunities is the way to go if you really want to break, like they say, shatter the glass ceilings in this industry. Thank you so much. I hope I've not spent too much of time.
Thank you. I know that, it's a tall order to ask you to cover so much in just, 15 minutes, but well done. And thank you so much for that. While they put up the profile of the next speaker, I will just recap in terms of what you have said. One, jump on challenges, very, very important. Be deliberate in building relationships. Step up to opportunities. Do not shy away from opportunities. Many women shy away from opportunities. In fact, in requesting for profiles of our speakers, some of them were very, okay, this is what I do, just basically. But if it was a man that we had asked to prepare their profile, they would tell us everything they have done, whether it is relevant or irrelevant to whatever it is they've been invited to. They would put themselves forward and they would support themselves. So it is very important as women to step up to opportunities, be a person of value, and then excuses gets you nowhere. Excuses gets you nowhere in this industry. It is male dominated. Men do not have to deal with as much as we deal with, but we still have to deal with it and then excel as well. So what we're trying to do here is to project to you that this is possible, which brings me to my next speaker, Olubusola Ajao. Olubusola Ajao is interesting for me because, first off, today, as we speak, she is the head of finance to Visa Tech Limited. That's LifeScore Bet Nigeria. Incidentally, She didn't study finance or accounting or banking or any of those, numbers related courses. She started out as a linguist. I hear her speak and I'm like, oh, did she study abroad or something, because our enunciation, the composition, it's something, interesting. And now I get why this is so. And when I saw her profile, she started out and she did a complete pivot into the world of numbers, into finance and administration. She has worked not only in the gaming sector, she has also worked with one of the big fours, as an auditor. So this is somebody who knows our onions. This is somebody who, one of the roles that we do not find so many people, most gaming companies outsource their financial services requirement. Most of it is outsourced. But this is somebody who has been in the system, understands the ecosystem, understands investment, understands financial regulatory frameworks in Nigeria. And, she has not stopped there. Her pivot is still continuous. She's now a data protection expert. She's also practicing SQL as an hobby. And also she enjoys swimming. So I mean, I say no more. I'll hand over to you, Busola. Do the talking yourself. Understanding gaming finance. How did you get into this? How did you get into that world? Financial inclusion, including women in the financial, sector, investment, growth. Do we see women investors in this industry at all? What would make it worthwhile, and where are the opportunities for women who are interested in the financial services in this industry? And then how do you navigate? Because we're very conscious of the fact that today is VAT, tomorrow is VAT, the next day is excise duty. Everything comes up and it lands on your desk and you still have a life to live. Because even for me, I'm like, some days it's sleepless nights. So please talk to us. Welcome, Busola. Guys, there's a reaction button. Please clap for our speakers. We know that you cannot hear. We do not want disruptions. We want you to hear every word uninterrupted. Welcome, Olubusola Ajao.
Thank you so, so much. It is such an honor to be here. I'm really, really grateful. I don't even have the words. It's great to be here. And I mean, I'm going to talk a lot about networks and how important they are, but I want to start by saying it. First of all, please do not underestimate the importance of events like this. I mean, it is such a wonderful thing that Fadeke and her team have been able to put together. Look, the men, they hang out at the clubs, they meet each other, they drink together, they all know each other. We, not so much. I mean, between school runs and cooking and taking care of the family, you barely even remember your own surname in some instances, talk less of knowing the other women in the gaming industry. So please, I really want to appreciate Fadeke for this, and I want to encourage each and every one of us to take advantage. Whenever we see any event you see, like, just grab it, just be there. Even if you don't know what they're saying, just show up. Somebody will see your name, somebody will remember you. And these are the links that you need when you're trying to move up in the industry. All right, Fadeke talked about my background, which is convoluted, to say the least. But yes, it is true. I studied linguistics in the University of Ibadan. I didn't even know what it was at that point. I was trying to become a lawyer, like Fadeke, but when I joined UI, my cutoff was not high enough. And so they said, okay, you know what, stay in linguistics, just do a year, and then you move to law. And I did a year, and when I wanted to move, my department said, our best students are going nowhere, stay there. So that was how I was stuck in linguistics, but I was compensated with a first-class degree, so I'm grateful for how it all turned, And then finishing that, I went to NYSC, I was studying in Zamfara, and somebody says, oh, what are you doing, work-wise? I don't know. I've never seen anybody hang professional linguist on their door. So I was like, I don't know any job I see. And they're like, oh, why don't you apply to KPMG and PwC? They're editing firms. I was like, editing? Wow, I love reading novels. I would be a great editor. That was how I applied and found out that editing, very, very different from auditing. No single novel, no M&B, nothing. There was no fact. It was a shock, but it was eye-opening. I got the opportunity to learn so much. I moved across all kinds of industries within a very, very short time. You get to understand what are the bones of a business, what's the structure of a business, how does the industry work, and not just one particular industry, because you move across industries. And so I had that, as a background for a very long time. I was there for about 10 years, over 10 years, and then I moved into gaming. Gaming, I mean, is so niche. It's not something that everybody is into. It's not, it's not yet an industry that too many people can boast of involvement in it, which is why this is a perfect time to be in the gaming industry. Like, we have the opportunity to be the pioneers, to build it and be, the treasure that makes it even better than we ever imagined it could be. For a number of us here, you are already in gaming, but for those of us who are not yet in gaming, who are looking for the opportunities, I want to talk a little bit about how you can sort of break into gaming through the finance round. There's not a lot of barrier to entry. And the reason is because you don't need to be a chartered accountant to come into finance in gaming. To be honest, you don't even need to have necessarily a lot of accounting background to start. If you are interested in numbers, if you are interested in, money. I mean, my sister and I joke a lot about, people talking about, oh, what's your passion? What's your passion? My passion is money. Passionate about making money, about salary, money coming, So if you are interested, and I don't know anyone who's interested in, there is no way you cannot find a way in finance to be relevant. And that's just the truth. Some people come in as reconciliation analysts. All you want to do is just, I want to compare. We move a lot of money, small amounts, but so many transactions. You move so much of this from this payment provider to this bank account and then channel all of that to winners. How does that happen? Who is making sure that the money that went out is the same as the money that went, and who is doing all of that check? That could be you. That's the job of a reconciliation analyst. Does not require any accounting background whatsoever. Alternatively, there are things like just even data analysis. We want to see how much money has moved in through our system, through our platform over the course of the past 1 year. So you look at all this data and you use, data tools, you use Excel. And the truth of the matter is there's so many of us on this call, you have these skills, but you've never really understood how you can package it together because maybe you're doing something else. But you use Excel and you know how to speak English. That's 90% of all you need. In some cases, that's all you need. Just the ability to put data together and write a report. Another opportunity is visualization. Talking about how to present this data in a summarized form that people will just see it and understand what's going on. I could tell you that, sales have reduced month on month by 12% for the past 10 years. It's easy, it's complicated when I say you don't really understand it. But if I show you a picture and you see a graph going down that way from January 2021, like this, is very easy to understand. Is in decline. So that is another skill. That's another area. And I'll tell you that people are very interested in visualization, especially for gaming. This is an untapped source. So it's not strictly finance, but at the same time, it's not core operations. And I'm saying this because the people who hear finance, who hear accounting, and immediately their brain just begins to No, it's not for, it's the truth. Not everybody will have that relationship with numbers that a core accountant will. But I'm saying this because I know that accountants, they don't have problems. For the people who are not core accountants, but who are still interested, there are still many, many opportunities that have not yet been tapped. The ability to create stunning visualizations, the ability to present this information in a way that when people see it, they're like, okay, is that what happened? And and I'm not even talking about Nigeria now. I'm talking global opportunities. If you go on any gaming site where, all these betting job sites, you are talking about business intelligence. They're always looking for business intelligence. Business intelligence just means that all the information we have just talked about, we are able to summarize it in a table or a flow chart or in a dashboard, something very simple for people to use and understand. So these are skills that we can leverage on and build careers in gaming. I think there was one other area I wanted to touch on in terms of opportunities. Yes, internal control. Now, the industry is not yet, the industry is not yet regulated in the way that, let me try again. The industry is regulated and the regulation is complex. But you see, there's still more regulation that is coming. So this is a good time to actually get in and understand. Let me tell you something. As we are right now, we deal with banks, we deal with the EFCC, we deal with the SCIMO office, we deal with state regulators, some of us deal with national regulators. We deal with the state tax boards, revenue services, we deal with federal revenue services. There are a number of bodies that we have to deal with. And in many cases, just like the previous speaker said, she had to wear a lot of hats. I worked in a company where, as finance, I was also HR. It's because, and you know how men are, in a male-dominated industry, there is not a lot of softness. Just imagine when HR is a man who does not even understand, what do you mean maternity leave? I thought maternity leave is 2 weeks. Why are you not in the office? Some men don't even know that you are supposed to be paid during maternity leave. I found this out, during my time as HR. So there are some things that they will need. The industry actually needs the influence of women. You have all these male egos coming together. Before you know it, any little thing has sparked off, some little war here between. But when there are women in a place, the calming influence, there is that, women have a way of seeing broader than men. There is that oversight of, is this taken care of? Is that taken care of? And that's what I'm trying to highlight to you when I'm talking about internal control. It's not just, is the money in the bank? It's not just, I have salaries being paid. It is somebody who is within the business, making sure that everything has been done in a proper fashion. And this is another really, really fantastic opportunity for people. I think that if you are interested, again, you don't need accounting, you don't need law degree, you don't need really anything. What you really need are the key soft skills, which Bimpe talked about and which I will also touch on now. For me, number one in this business is integrity. You can't get away from it. There is no way around it. In this business, I don't want to say 100%, but most of the people we are dealing with, our customers, a lot of them are people who are trying to get something for nothing. You have to be a different sort of person. If you have the same mindset of, me too, let me see how I can make my way out of this, it's going to be very, very challenging because there's only so much that you can do. You understand? It's very, very important that you keep your integrity. As within my short tenure so far, I can't count how many people have lost their jobs. And it's not even a good losing. It's a terrible losing that you can never, ever in this country, in the industry, ever be hired. Nobody will trust you. And a good name, you can't buy a good name. That's one of the things I'm really, really most grateful for. That no matter where I've worked, no matter where I've done, my name remains my greatest asset. You know, so I want to really emphasize on integrity. Another skill you need to have is attention to detail. Again, we have so many transactions, so many people, so much going on. It's a complex machine, but you need to be able to say, okay, this is what's going on here. This is what's going on here. This is an industry where a decimal point, the difference between 5 naira to 100,000 customers and 50 naira to 100,000 customers is a lot. So you can't be somebody who doesn't pay attention to detail. Finally, to everyone here, the one thing I would emphasize above all is grit. Grit and resourcefulness. No matter what comes, you have to be that person that has the staying power. You can't be intimidated by anybody. I've been in so many meetings. I'm the only woman there. And in fact, I'm sure for some of them, I'm the only woman they have seen that week. Because even their personal life, there is no woman. All they know is this sports, game, money, game. You have to be resilient. You have to have grit. No matter what anybody says, you deserve your seat at the table. Stand there, show up there like you deserve it. Own it. It's yours. It's your right. Fight for what belongs to you. And don't let anybody drown you out. Don't let anybody dim your light. Continue doing what you're doing. Keep pushing. And I know all of us will make it to the top. Thank you so much for listening. I hope I have not overshot my time. Thank you.
Thank you. It's absolutely perfect. Just on time. Thank you so much, Bisola. And you couldn't have said it better. You deserve your seat at the table. Hold your head up high. And while we put up the profile of the next speaker, I'm just going to recap some of the things I took away. There is not a lot of barriers to entry in this industry now as we speak. This is the best time to jump in this industry. I have always said this. I have always encouraged this. Coming now to investors, to whoever, to employees, to those who want to invest in the sector, to those who want to, whatever it is you're looking for, this is the time, for you to come in the industry. Because once it becomes regulated to a global standard, to properly sit where it should, then it will become more difficult. It will become closed. But for now, there's still a whole lot of opportunities. She highlighted some of the skills you need to have for you to excel more or less in the financial sector. One, your knowledge and skill. Do not take, however little your knowledge is, do not take it for granted. Whatever skill you have, do not take it for granted. Start working, on those skills, with those skills, build them. Visualization, you must understand internal control. Integrity is something, some of the values you must have: integrity, a good name, attention to details, and by God, you have to have grit, you have to have guts for you to stand in the committee of men and for them to listen to you attentively. Yes, there might be a bit of disregard initially, but if you know your onions from your suya, I promise you the men will give you the accolade and the respect that you deserve. Sometimes people might look at you and think, oh, what is she? Who does she think she is? She thinks she's all that and a bag of chips. Keep doing you. The only competition you have is you. So keep doing you. Heads up. Do not get involved in office politics. I was hoping somebody would touch on, the politics that goes on being a woman in this, industry. But I guess, yes, that's another thing. As much as possible, stay above the fray. So yes, I guess we're making good time considering the fact that we waited the first 10 minutes before we started. Bear with us. We would round up at the latest by 12:30. We won't take more than an hour and a half of your time. Now we move on all the way to Ghana. And this time we're going into the regulatory aspect of things. Gifty Rita Amor is someone that I have also known for years. I forget how many years, but I am sure it is not less than 10 years in this industry or more. I'm sure it's probably more. And of course, you know, one of the things we've been talking about is juggling a lot. She's got her daughter with her. You know, I am sure, you know, the daughter just insists, today, mommy, you're working from home. I get to spend time with you. You have no choice. But Gifty Rita is the deputy director at the Gaming Commission of Ghana. She, again, is someone who started out studying oil and gas. She studied law, oil and gas, philosophy and politics, you know, and then she veered into regulation and executive leadership. I guess this was at a time when she was well settled into the regulatory space. She's got over a decade's experience in the gaming, law, compliance, and regulatory sector. I am very aware, and I have heard from investors, operators in Ghana about there's this woman in the regulatory agency of Ghana, strong woman, you know, they put a respect to her name. You know, that's the impression that I get most times, and rightly so. Gifty is well recognized. She's a prominent voice in regulatory innovation and governance. She's a thought leader. As a matter of fact, every lady you have here is a thought leader in the gaming industry. Also named one of the top 50 most influential women in gaming. Her hobbies include fashion designing and balloon and beadwork artistry. Join me, put your hands together virtually for Gifty Rita Amor. Thank you. The floor is yours. You've got 15 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Fadike, and hello to everybody. As you can see, mommy duties. So she's home today from school and I'm working from home. So I have her. So she's part of this webinar for. Anyway, so I'm so honored to be part of this platform, to be here to share my experience in the industry. I mean, both Bimpe and Bristol have done quite a great job just talking about professional wise and all of that. Now, as you saw from my profile, like I actually had never heard of the gaming industry. Never. Like it wasn't even on my radar at all. So I started out studying political science and philosophy, because the very year that I entered university was the year that the University of Ghana decided they were not going to run law as a first degree anymore. So best that I did for myself was to have studied philosophy. And then I studied religion as well, which were very courses that opened me up to critical thinking. And therefore, when it was after my first degree, immediately I applied, went through the examination and everything and got into the University of Ghana. Now, to put that in context, that particular year that we went into the to do the LLB, it was over 1,005 of us who actually wrote the exam. At the end of it, it was 750, and then we got reduced down to 250, and then eventually it was just 100 of us, and I made it. So for me, I've always felt like, yeah, there was something at work. I needed to be a lawyer. Yeah, so, and then I did the law school, and afterwards, after law school, I would think that I should say most of the opportunities that have come away have been things that I really didn't plan to do. You know, it just that an opportunity came, and like Bimpe has said, if there's one thing that it's been my guiding mantra. It's been that I never shy away from an opportunity to learn something new. Once it's an opportunity and it's something new, I'm going to get into it. I will take up the challenge and I'll learn. So after law school, whilst I was waiting to be called to the bar, I had an opportunity at the Ghana Netherlands Chamber of Commerce, and I started there. And then whilst there, I met somebody who was there previously, and she had a friend. And then in one of those conversations, they came. And if there's one thing if you get to know me, there's one thing: I like to look my best. I mean, fashion is how I express myself. I always try as much as possible to put my best foot forward, because someone once told me a long time ago that before somebody gets to know you, they see you first. In as much as we say don't judge a book by its cover, they see you first. So it is what you present outwardly is what will make somebody want to then take the next step to get to know you. So we got into the conversation about something I was wearing, and then, oh, what are you doing? Okay. Oh, there's an opportunity here for we need somebody to do coordinate our project. There's an oil company coming to Ghana. By then, Ghana had just discovered oil. Hey, you go with me, switcher. Go on with me, switcher. Go on, switcher. I'm sorry. So, yeah, so that started me off on the journey of working for Maersk Drilling for the entirety. They were in Ghana drilling for another company called Hess. And then afterwards, so I did this project for 2 years, lawyer. But for me, I thought it was a good learning opportunity. I was changing crew. I was chartering helicopters. I was arranging hotel. I was arranging visa on arrivals. I was doing work permits, everything. I mean, everything that had to do with that project. I was in there. I was reconciling travel documents. I was reconciling accounts and all of that. And this was accounts that were running into the millions of dollars, because you would, at any given point, I'll have like 100 crew, hotel, flights, everything, transportation. So for me, coming from there, I just said, you know what? I think I've learned enough about this industry to want to get into it. That was my first introduction to oil and gas. And that's how I got into oil and gas. Well, after the project ended, they moved on to Senegal. I said, University of Ghana had just started its LLM program, and there was an LLM in oil and gas law, and that's how I got into. Come on. Oh my God, guys, give me a minute. Let me calm her down. Calm her. What is it? What is it?
Well, when we talk about juggling a lot, this is precisely what we mean. Being a mother, being a career woman, being a wife, being a child, a daughter, all of these things, they take a toll on you. You have to manage them. And, one of the challenges is that we have as women is, managing this, coordinating this properly. But whilst we wait for Gifty, one thing I would like to say to our attendees is that every woman we have invited to speak here is in an international role. Despite the fact that they are Africans, despite the impression that, is given about Nigerians, about Ghanaians out there to the world, these women are in international roles. It didn't start, it's not a journey of a day. You can't just see them and say, oh, she's in this role. How did she get to it? Oh, she got to it. It's not a miracle. It's a process. It's laying foundation. It's starting from day one. Day one is building the foundation. Day one is learning the skills. Day one is improving yourself, putting yourself in a position where you can excel day to day. And one day, we're talking 5 years, we're talking a decade, we're talking 2 decades down the line. So I'll hand over again to Gifty. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Fadike. Hopefully we'll have Yeah, so Hami, stop it. Look, okay, get up. Join us, join us, join us, join us. Okay, okay, say hello to everybody. Say hello. Say hello. Say hello. Good girl. Thank you. Okay, so basically, so that's how I got into oil and gas. And then afterwards went back to private practice, joined private practice, corporate law, veered into corporate immigration. And then one day I was just talking to one of my seniors, and then she says, "Oh, Gifty Rita, there's gaming commission. They are looking for us a gaming commission. What do they do?" So they regulate. Okay, there's an opportunity there. Yeah, they're looking for a lawyer. Would you be interested in applying? And that's how I got into regulation. That's how I applied and got the job at the Gaming Commission. It has been a good learning opportunity for me. Just because, first of all, newbie to the gaming industry, have no clue how to learn the lingo, how to learn the basic things, the legal aspects of it. And then, you know, the challenge was here I am, fresh, not having much knowledge and about the industry, and yet everybody else is coming to you for legal advice. All the other units and directorates are relying on you to give them advice. So what do? I have to fake it till I make it. So I had to just start my and put in as much as I could. You can't be seen and you can't project that you don't know. In this industry, you really just can't. As a woman, you can't, you know. And how did I do that? One of the very first travels that I embarked on was to SB Sports Betting Africa, the conference in Lagos. And it was on that first trip that I met Fadike. And I was so inspired because I was like, finally, another lawyer, another woman in the gaming industry that I can rely on. So she would tell you the very first year, I was almost always, that's how we built this relationship over time. You know, I was always reaching out to her. Fadike, whilst you were at Lagos State, what was this? This is this. Can you help me with that? Yeah, I have this situation. Can you give me advice on it? And that just brings me to what everybody else has said. Networking for me has been a lifesaver, getting to know other women. And I don't shy away from telling a woman when I see her doing something that I aspire to, I want to get to know her. I see that most times that women are pitted against each other. We think that when you see a woman soaring or it's something that you are not, then it rather puts in, it makes you, people hesitate. Women hesitate. They don't want to, oh, she may be stuck up, she may be this. Listen, it doesn't matter whether she's stuck up or not. Every woman likes a compliment. Approach her and say, you look beautiful. That will always open up the opportunity for you to start a conversation. And what you want is to get what she has. And she's sharing that with you. And you shouldn't be ashamed or be afraid to do that just because you think she's a different kind of woman from you. I get inspired when I see women doing things that I aspire to. And it is, for me,
Did we lose her?
Yeah, I guess
Oh,
it's a network problem.
So
I think a couple of years ago,
Okay.
through Fadike as well, and was at another conference. And I just saw this one, like, wow, Association of Nigerian Bookmakers. That's wild. How did she get that? And that's how, and that, and that's how, can you hear me? It looks like my video is frozen.
Yes, we hear you.
Okay,
Yes, we can.
yeah. So that's, oh, I know you're supposed to. Okay, let's sleep. Yeah, so for me, that is something that I want to encourage you as women, that when you see another woman doing what you aspire to do or to be, do not be afraid to step up to that woman or to introduce yourself and get to know her, and just tell her the things, encourage her, tell her the things she's doing that you are so inspired by, and it will, you know, what will come out of that friendship and all of that. I think the other thing that I also wanted to touch on is just the also being in the industry and somehow getting I think it was Busola who spoke about integrity. But in that integrity, be prepared to know that you will be labeled. You'll be labeled as a hard woman. You'll be labeled as a difficult woman. You'll be labeled as, you get all the labels because you stand for something and because you want the right thing to be done. And in wanting the right thing to be done, like, do not be afraid to start. You may be the only person in the sea of all the sharp men or all the sharp guys around you and everybody trying to make a quick buck, because you do know that there are a lot of inflows and outflows out of the industry. But in all of it, try to maintain your integrity. And in as much as you get all the labels, I think that it's better for people to know that in the sea of whatever is going on, there's one person that if they go to, this person is going to treat them right. This person is going to treat them with, give them the right thing to do, or tell them what they need to do in the process. The other thing I want to also touch on is also not be afraid to, whilst you're at it, not be afraid to speak your mind. You know, in such a male-dominated industry, sometimes it can get, you think you don't know much. So when everybody is talking, you just keep quiet. But you should learn to speak up. In as much as that is a problem, people might try to silence you, but you should learn to speak up, have a voice and all of that. And then also, I will always come back to one thing that I think it's important, and a lot of women also do not pay too much attention on, is how you look. How you look is very important. You know, if you want to command the room, you must dress to command the room. You cannot dress in a way that gives people the opportunity to have all kinds of imaginations and all kinds of perceptions. Dress the part. If you want to look like a power woman, you must dress like a power woman. You don't need to break the bank to dress like a power woman. You must always look well kept, well dressed. And I think that when you look that way, it's half of the battle already won, because the men see you and you disarm them, because sometimes they are too busy looking at how you look to even, you know, so you disarm them. And I think once you disarm them, then it's easier for you to then take the next step, or easier for you to start certain conversations and get certain things done. But regulatory wise, just working in that type of environment, and the office politics is something that you have to learn to navigate. I have had to learn the hard way how to navigate office politics, you know. And in as much as I've said that you need to be able to speak your mind, I think as women we also need to learn how to balance our emotions and try to balance those things with just how you are, your personality and all of that, and try to stay out of the office politics as much as possible, you know, stay out of it and learn how to navigate it as well, because sometimes the men, yeah, they would gang up against you. They would gang up against you, and sometimes it's disheartening. And I've had to learn how to navigate all of that. But in conclusion, I would say that it's been a good opportunity for me. It's opened up so many doors, so many opportunities. And in regulatory work, apart from legal, there's licensing and registration, there's enforcement, there's compliance, there's inspections. There are so many roles that women can get into, but unfortunately, from my workplace, a lot of it is in HR, is in support, and not in the core operational units and directorates. And I think that women should begin to look at those opportunities. When we come out of school, we should look at all the other ones, like Busola said, so many things, especially with compliance. Compliance is huge these days. You know, government relations, very huge, and internal control. You know, And never stop learning, never stop learning. Always have a willingness to learn, a willingness to upgrade yourself, to develop yourself. And these type of seminars and articles, anything that you can read to upgrade yourself, I think you should make use of that opportunity. So that's I think that's a little that I have to add to this conversation. I hope I was within time. Didn't talk too much.
Thank you, Gifty. Thank you so much. God bless you. And yes, you couldn't have said it better. Never stop learning. If there's one thing I know for Gifty, if there's a conference, if there's an event, if there's any learning opportunity, Gifty will be there. Gifty will show up, and she will do it fashionably too. So she doesn't just talk the talk, she walks the talk. I mean, for those of you who saw her, who met her at the Age conference in Lagos, you would see that every day she was serving us back to back, you know. So yes, again, take away, don't be afraid of labels, project yourself. What you present outwardly is what determines how others react to you. And more importantly for us as women, when you see another woman doing what you aspire to, don't be afraid to compliment, don't be afraid to approach, don't be afraid to, you know, learn from them. It doesn't help us be divided. It helps us to stand united, to support one another. I've always been an advocate of, if there's a woman out there, you know, we're doing it together. You know, I would choose a woman, not consciously, I have to admit, but somehow I would gravitate towards a woman who has the same skill. When the skill sets are similar, when they're the same, I'll gravitate more towards a woman than a man. And I am sure that yours truly is a testament to that. If you need support, please reach out. I realized that, you know, Bimpe and I, we talked about it, as well as Gifty, after that session at Age, that, look, we need to do more for other women who are coming up. I have been organizing in-house trainings, and what I find is when I go in there, I see women who have been in the industry for 10 years, for 15 years, and I have never heard of these women before. So it just brought to fore the fact that we need a rallying point. We need to come together. So we have set up a group, actually, for those who are not yet part of the WhatsApp group. Please send us an email or something. We would be glad to add you to that group. And this is just the first of many. This was something we started last year, but we stepped it down because we saw the Women in Gaming Africa, and we didn't want to, we wanted a united front. As long as these women would do it together. But we realized that even Nigeria is, you know, a big enough ecosystem, you know, to have its own presence. And more than anything, the Age conference pushed that point home. It drove it home for us. So there, women, if you have questions, we've got a few more minutes. I'm sure they will be glad to ask, you know, to take your questions, to respond. If you've got comments, please leave them. Or if you would like to ask your questions, yes, we can unmute you. And yes, you can ask your question. Now, someone has a question. Kemisola Adelakun is saying, is talking about office politics. Women play this more than men, from my personal experience in the industry. How do we face each other as women when the other one can play the politics well? Okay. Which of our speakers, I mean, I'm going to leave this open to your discretion. If you've got experience in office politics, please go ahead and speak to this. Yes.
Yeah, well, maybe I can speak from experience as well. And this is to say that sometimes, you know, we'll be like, Nigeria, working with Nigeria companies, blah, 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 how we complain about how stressful it is. But trust me, the grass is not green on the other side. If you've worked with global companies as well, in fact, maybe you're dealing with much more issues beyond the Nigerian, and issues that is hard for you to even define, you know, because it's like, it's subtle, maybe not easily seen by those on the outside. And I agree with the person who wrote that. Truly, I've had experience of, like Fadike said, you want to hire someone and then it's a woman that you are seeing has, of course, it's a good CV together with a guy. You prefer to pick the woman knowing that you want to promote more women and all of that. And it was really a shitty hire. I kid you not. Like, literally felt like, you know, being bullied by a report. And you are wondering, but this is woman. And you know, you see that when the dynamics are swapped, that's this same person reacting or relating with a fellow, maybe senior male colleague, behaves in a better way, but completely shitty with you. And you're wondering clearly what it means. Someone has said we seem to have pitted against each other. It seems some women see this as competition, like when they see you high up there, is not, you know, from a place of, you know, wanting to learn, or, you know, like even not that. As someone who even reports to a senior female, you should actually, as much as that person is supporting you, support them as well to succeed. Not compete, you know, and trying to find ways, sometimes even spreading gossips to ensure that the person is pulled out of that organization. For me, how I handle that is, yeah, again, I'm a strong believer in that your work speaks for you. You know, do not be distracted by what that person is doing, because at the end of the day, actually, this person, you know, was fired. Interestingly, not even by, because I tried as much as, you know, there's also the part where you don't want to be like the emotional one, and then there's power dynamics as well. It's more believable for people to feel that it's the senior person oppressing the junior one. So you then have to be careful about how you are presenting your matter. But at the end of the day, again, like I said, I feel that you know, your work speaks for you. Focus on what you're doing. Let whoever is playing the company politics and, you know, name dropping and all of that, let them continue, because what you will see is also, for those who are focused on politics, they tend not to do well on the job. And at the end of the day, that lack of performance will also show. And ultimately, you will be the one on the winning side. That's all I'll say, whether you win in that company or outside.
Yes, very true. Very, very true. Just to add to that, look, the only competition you have is yourself. The only way for you to be truly 110% content and happy with yourself is to identify that you are your only competition. That's not to say you disregard competitiveness in your workspace, or that you do not aspire to hire, but understand that you are your only, you set the standard, the standard you have to meet and exceed is that which you are set for yourself. So the Fadike of today has to be better than Fadike of yesterday. And the Fadike of tomorrow has to be better than the Fadike today. That is the best way to approach it. You know, just face your front, like they say. Don't look at Uche's face, face your front. Thank you so much, Bimpe. There's a comment here I would like to add to what the last speaker said. Whilst we speak our mind, we should also apply emotional intelligence in doing so. Yes, that is very correct. That's completely true. Do not be one of those people that says, oh, this is the way I am blunt, I speak my mind. Also be conscious of whoever is receiving that message. It's a skill to be learned sometimes, you know, because sometimes the pressure of the work may get to you and then you're just reacting, or maybe it's just, you know, as they say, the wrong time of the month. But to round this up, I would like to very much thank the ladies, our speakers, who have, you know, dedicated time and resources to come speak to us today. We called and not one person hesitated to answer. Truly, truly, we are honored. We're happy to have you. We're grateful to you. Thank you so much. We will be in touch because this is just the beginning, as I have said. Please look out. We'll be sending out emails. We'll be organizing more and more sessions. The next sessions we'll take it a little bit outside of the gaming industry, but also about us as women, our health, how we take care of our health, as well as financial literacy, where we are, what we do, and how we do. So that would be the next session that we would be organizing. Please watch your emails, watch for the link and everything. Register early, because after a while, we would limit participation because we want it to be effective. To all those who have attended and stayed through with us, we thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time. We hope this has been useful for us. This is just creating a platform where you can speak to others, you can network, you can get to know others. I'm sure we've been projecting the questions so that you would see the names of some of the attendees, you see the positions that they are. Most of these people are women like you in the gaming industry. So reach out, be part of the network. Women in Nigeria Gaming is life. It is a thing, and we will continue to grow it. We'll continue to support one another, and we'll continue to excel, not only as Nigerians, but as Africans. We would continue to be, the role model. We'll continue to be the ones who project Africa and Nigeria as a country of great resources, not just resources, great resources and great resourcefulness. So thank you all so much for your time. In addition, I'm just going to take a few minutes just to talk about SLEC Africa. This is what SLEC Africa does. Misconceptions, misunderstandings, lack of information about the industry. What we want to do is ensure that there is access to information. We do capacity building. We organize capacity building. For now, it is in-house, but very soon we're going to be collaborating and partnering so that we can have it on a larger scale. We can then provide services, we can provide training so that you can develop your skills in areas of compliance, in areas of risk management, player management, customer support. For those who are in the legal sector, Gifty mentioned that it was a fake it till you make it situation. What we realize is that we have actually grown to a point, whilst the gaming industry in Africa is still young, it has grown to a point where it has thought leaders, it has people who can actually pass on the knowledge that maybe they have learned the hard way on the job, but they can pass it on and make it easier for the next generation of women and indeed men. We cannot get rid of the men because, again, we're the ones who bring them into the world, no? We're their mothers, we're their sisters, we're their, daughters and cousins and what have you. So we cannot do without them. So we provide this platform. This is what we want. We want real-time information, accurate information. If you're interested, we're going to drop a link. You can join the wait list. We'll let you know. You get emails, you get correspondences about upcoming programs and things. So that's that about SLEC. But for women in Nigeria Gaming, which is WING, we intend to soar, we intend to fly, we intend to take it from here. Thank you all so much, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Happy International Women's Day to you. Accelerate action. Take action based on what you have heard today. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having us. Happy International Women's Day.
International Women's Day, ladies.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you all.